Good morning, Glory Gang, Glory Family. Good morning, Asari from Los Angeles. If you've noticed one thing, what have you noticed? I figured out how to put your messages on the screen. And I'm so excited about that. Before we even get started, if you've been rocking with me and you've been here since the very beginning, this is probably our 7th live, maybe 8th live. Look, y'all know I've been really struggling with how to get your messages on the screen. Guess what the issue was? Dumbo me. All I had to do was press enable. I had everything else figured out, which was not easy to figure out, but I had everything else figured out. All I had to do was press enable. So there you go. Anyway, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, actually. Good afternoon. Thank y'all for being here. We got some things to talk about. Y'all seen the title. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Look, where is the money? Where is the money? Hey, art world, where is the money? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And of course, you guys know how I find the things that I am looking for, how I actually approach even having these live conversations with you guys always comes from some piece of news, some editorial, some article that I stumble across, and I think that you guys are going to be really interested in, that we can kind of talk about together. So we're asking the art world, where is the money? And I have a lot of thoughts on this. Child, where is the money? Look, we can get y'all, we can put your messages on the screen now, so I'm excited about that. But where is the money? And we can talk about that from a few different aspects, a few different points, right? Because you guys are not going to be interested in some of the ideas of where is the money. You might be interested from a collector perspective, from a gallery perspective, from an artist perspective. But the question remains, where is the money? So we're going to start on Instagram, where we always start. I hope this, kind of points to how important discovery is on Instagram, because we always start on Instagram, and following these publications on Instagram always gives me a really, really, really good start. Before we get started, before we get really deep in, y'all let me know where you are. I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm not from Houston, Texas. I don't know if y'all knew that. I'm from Beaumont, Texas. Big Money, Texas is what we call it. And it's about an hour and a half. It's the country. So I'm from a really small country place. But y'all let me know where you are, where you from, where y'all tuning in from. We need to know that the Glory Gang, Dear Glory, is worldwide. We got LA in the house. Right now, I'm Houston. We have Houston in the house. Who else do we have in the house? Let me know in the chat who we have in the house. What city are you from? Where are you? We got Los Angeles. We have Houston. Who else do we have? Last week we had London. Last week we had Boston. We had Austin. We had so many different places. Right now we got Kansas City, Missouri. Let's go. We got Brooklyn, New York. Yes. Look, I can put y'all on the screen. Brooklyn, New York, Kansas City. One of my best friends is from Kansas City. We got, what is that? Birmingham? What? I can't see the screen. Bergam, Texas. I don't know, but we're both here in Texas. I don't know how to say it, but we are both here in Texas. We're all over the place. Thank y'all for letting me know where y'all are tuning in from. That's really important. If you are here, make sure you press that like button, the thumbs up button. Press that thumbs up button, because that's what's going to keep us going, right? If we don't get enough of the thumbs up, enough likes, and I know how surface level that sounds. If we don't get enough likes, we're not going to keep going. But here's the thing. YouTube is basing how important this conversation is, how important this live is, based off of how many times the video gets liked, how many times the video gets shared. So if we want this to go to other people that need to be involved in this conversation, make sure you guys are pressing the like button. Last time you guys were pressing that heart button, and I got like 600 hearts, and that was amazing. I love the heart. Give me the heart. React with the heart. I love the heart. It's really important. React with the 100, but more importantly, press the like button. Anyway, let's get started, because I want to talk about this. Look, first of all, do y'all know who this is? Her name is Marian Ibrahim, right? And I was first introduced to her about maybe 7 years ago. She was representing Amoako Boafo. This is beyond the point, but she was representing Amoako Boafo. She's a Black woman. She has a gallery here in the U.S., in Chicago. I believe that's her home base. But when I started to see the way that she was expanding, she expanded her gallery base and the name of the gallery is Marian Ibrahim. Marian Ibrahim Gallery. And she has a gallery in Chicago. She has her gallery also in Paris, which I was able to visit. She also has a gallery, I believe, in Mexico City. And, she's one of those people that I think, if you don't know who she is, get to know her. Marian is really, really, really inspiring in the work that she's doing. She's one of the best galleries in the game. Y'all hear, y'all see it. And she moves in a very quiet, distinctive way. Mexico City, somewhere I haven't even been able to go. I was just telling my husband the other day, I want to go to Zona Maco, but I'm going to go to Freeze. I can't travel twice in 1 month, not next month. But yes, anyway, wanted to point out who they're using on their headline, because they don't mention her name, they don't tag her, they don't say anything about her, but they are using her as the face of this content. So I thought it was really important to kind of talk about like who she is. She is a beast. I almost forgot. I met her. You guys know Lester Marks. I might be telling y'all too much, but I was able to meet her. Lester Marks, one of the biggest collectors. He has a really huge Instagram. Probably, if you follow the art, you might follow, and you probably follow Lester Marks on Instagram. I'm probably telling too much of my business and everybody else's business. But Amoako had a show down here, which I was able to meet him through a really great friend of mine. He had a show here. We actually went to lunch. That was a special moment. And that was not due to me. That was due to my friend. She was just really awesome. Anyway, so because he had a show, she was here in Houston. Lester Marks, huge collector. And she was there at, Amoako Boafo had, he has a presentation at his home, at Lester's home. Not a presentation, but more so of a reception at Lester's home. And I was able to meet Marian there. It was really special. We didn't talk much. I don't know if she's funny. We didn't get to laugh at anything. I was just really excited to meet her. Anyway, so what is this about? What is this entire article about that we're talking about? ArtNet News 3 days ago said, here we are, fresh-faced and full of resolutions. A brand new year glittering with promise ahead of us. Could this be the year of the art market's big rebound? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I like that. They have a little character, a little personality. They must have someone new writing their captions. I haven't seen this much personality in their captions. Anyway, they say, as we enter 2026, those in the art trade and dealers especially are facing a conundrum. Yes, there is a load of money out there. We know that. There's a load of money out there. Elon Musk is set to become the world's first trillionaire, which is insane. How do y'all even feel about that? That is absolutely insane. The wealth of the top 10% of Americans, those worth $2 million or more. So to be in the wealthiest top 10%, you have to be worth $2 million or more, has skyrocketed by nearly 50%. Nearly 50%. That's how much skyrocket. That's how much wealth is growing right now. And anyway, what we're asking here is, can the art market attract new wealth? So basically what they're saying is what we're saying. Where the money at? Can they find the money? Can they bring the money in? Is the art world going to be able to say, hey, y'all with the money, y'all come over here. You be over here. I think that's something that we have actually all been exploring. All of us have been exploring that. If you've been listening to these lives, if you've been listening to some of my long form videos, we've all been exploring, where is the money? We might be doing that, and we might have been doing that in different ways, right? If you're an artist, you might be asking yourself, where is the money as far as the grants? Where is the money as far as the stipends for the residencies? When you go do a show somewhere, especially if they're not collecting your work, you might be asking, where is the money? There are many different ways we might be asking, where is the money? Where are the collectors spending the money, right? I mean, there might be a way that you guys are asking, where is the money? So we're going to explore that today. What I think the bigger question here is, how do we access the money? The money is there. This is telling us, right? This one paragraph is telling us people are wealthy. People have money to spend. How do we access the money? That is the question. Now, if you listen to conversations I've had, the conversation that we did with Richard Beavers and also Lester Marks and Aisha Selden, that conversation, I asked a question, and Aisha and I she expounded on that question for me. And she said, the question I asked was, Do we focus and are we focused on collector acquisition? Now, as y'all know, if you've been here for a while, you know that my background is really heavily into the marketing and public relations and the worlds of fashion and the worlds of entertainment and the worlds of beauty. So when I was in beauty, I worked heavily in e-commerce. So working in beauty, we were able to take the brand and get the brand that I was working with and get that brand from a startup and have that brand live in every single Ulta store, have that brand live in every single Macy's store. And so through my work there for 6 years or maybe 7 years, I really learned the language of e-commerce. Well, one of the biggest things that we talked about working in beauty, working in marketing and PR and communications heavily in beauty is how do we acquire new customers? It blows my absolute mind that in the art world, I rarely hear galleries, and maybe they're using a different language. I rarely hear galleries ask the question, how are we acquiring new collectors? Maybe that language is too harsh. Maybe that language is just way too much for the art world. How do we acquire? Why are we acquiring? No, we acquire art. We don't acquire collectors. Well, the question is how are you going to get collectors to come over here? How are you going to get collectors to spend this money? Now, if we go to the article is really, really, really exploring it. And it opens it through the eyes of Mark Spiegler. I don't know how to say his name, but he is the former Art Basel global director. And I want you guys to really keep that in mind, that he is the former Art Basel global director. Why are we keeping that in mind? We're keeping that in mind mainly because Art Basel has a lot to do with spectacle. Okay, Art Basel has a lot to do with spectacle. So yes, there's amazing and beautiful art that we all could love there, but it's a lot of spectacle. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as we continue. So he's saying that galleries have been very bad at recruiting. I'm gonna highlight that so y'all can see it. Galleries have been very bad at recruiting the newly wealthy into buying art. Different language, same thing. Galleries have been really bad at collector acquisitions. And when I say collector acquisitions, listen, you don't just get new collectors. That's not what you do. You could definitely use organic content, but do we know galleries? Y'all answer this in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Do we know galleries to be organic? Incredibly organic. I mean, using marketing channels like email lists. I mean, and when I say organic, I mean, are they actually drawing people in? They are now within this period, within this time period. They definitely are now. That is a thing now. But in the past, it wasn't really a thing. So we're playing a lot of catch up in the art world. And because we're playing catch up, we're trying to catch up real fast, and we've missed a lot. We've missed an absolute ton because we didn't want to play in the art world. We didn't want to play the same marketing games, the same PR games that other industries have played that align with where we are with social media, with artificial intelligence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we found ourselves in this place where a lot of galleries, they definitely have their private list. They definitely have their private ways of garnering new people. But what about the public ways? How are they acquiring new collectors? Now, I want to say that Mark is having the perspective from a fair. Fairs are a lot more public, but don't ever think that fairs don't do a lot of private marketing. They do as much private marketing or even more as they do public marketing. So I believe that his perspective is very broad. Not only is it broad because he's a fair, but because he's able to interact with galleries. He is able to interact with artists. He's actually able to interact with the entire art world in a way that a gallery in Minnesota isn't able to do. One gallery with a small team isn't able to do. But Art Basel, he had a full team of strategists, of people thinking about building this fair, recruiting not collectors, but recruiting. I mean, not only recruiting collectors because they recruit collectors, but also recruiting galleries. That means that their information about what is and what's not working for galleries is beyond what galleries alone understand. Y'all following me? Y'all following? Let me know in the chat what y'all thinking so far. So, looking at the chart of annual total art sales in the UBS and Art Market report on the industry, we all know where the market goes up and down. Okay, but after adjusting those figures for inflation, the peaks and valleys from a downward slope, in essence, he said, the market has been in decline, not for the last few years, but for the last 15. So what he's saying is these numbers that we've been looking at, they never counted in inflation. They just let the numbers keep going up and keep going up and keep going up. And they let us read these little reports and talk to one another about these reports. And we kept thinking that, except for last year and the year before, except for 2025 and 2024, but all these years we've been thinking, man, the art world's doing really good. There's a lot of money circulating over here. But what he's saying is if you put in inflation, there's been a decline for 15 years. So what's the question? What's the question? Let me know in the chat. What's the question? Where is the money? Where are the collectors? And that is key in the question that we are asking today. He says it's mind-boggling that at a time when you have more potential clients, you don't, as an industry, grow. Oh my God. I've been saying this for so many years. I'm so irritated by it. I've been so irritated in watching the stagnation of this industry. Do I feel a little bit different right now? Yeah, I feel different. I feel like we're at a point to where we have no choice to grow, like I've said. But I mean, I agree with his sentiment. It's mind-boggling that at a time when you have more potential clients, you don't, as an industry, grow. Why is that? I'll tell you again, it's because of marketing and PR. We're not using it the right way. I think there's a fundamental problem with how art is being positioned. What is that? What is the positioning? Marketing and PR. Marketing and PR. Listen, this is a lesson for us all, right? If you are an artist, if you are a gallerist, if you are a museum trying to attract new donors, if you are a museum trying to attract new people to your board, I know so many museums out there that are just, I'm looking at them like, hey, y'all need somebody that's highly embedded in the art world, that understands marketing tactics, that understands public relation tactics, and that can infuse them into the art world in a way that makes sense in the art world. Not using beauty tactics. You don't use those same tactics. You use tactics that work here. And I haven't seen that way too many times. And he's saying the exact same thing. And I just want to know. I just want to know, our galleries, our collectors, not even collectors, because you know what collectors are right now? You know what collectors are in this scenario? Collectors are those that need to be sought. So let me add an additional thing. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to bridge that gap. I'm going to bridge that gap for some people, and some people I'm not going to bridge it for. But when we talk about marketing, you need it. Talk about public relations, you need it. But what's the third thing we need? What's the third thing we need? Education. Education. What have we seen none of in the art world? We haven't seen no marketing. We haven't seen no PR, and we haven't seen any education. And that's why it's been declining for 15 years. Because also for the last 15 years, what has been developing in a different way? In a different way, marketing has developed differently. Public relations has developed differently. And education has become so much more expansive. That's why the art world can't find the money. That's why the galleries can't find the money. That's why fairs are doing such a good job and beating everybody out. And we can even look at an article that I thought I was going to talk about today, but I'm not going to get quite into it. But you know what? We can mention it. Art fairs at a turning point. Why galleries can't afford to go, but can't afford to stop. I'm going to tell you right now, marketing, PR, and education. They can't afford to go because they They neglected marketing, they neglected PR, and they neglected education. But they can't afford to stop because they're relying on a fair that does all three. The fair engages in marketing. They engages, and not only do they engage in organic marketing, they engage in paid marketing. They engage in ads. They run ads. We were on, if you were here the other day on the live, we were reading an article on Artsy, and we seen LA Art Fair, and we talked a little bit about how they had great placement. They engage in marketing. Fairs engage in marketing. That's why the galleries have to go to the fairs. That's also why they can't afford to go, because they didn't do the groundwork. The way that you keep people interested is education, especially in this field, right? Especially in this field. You have to educate your potential collector. You have to educate the person that's interested in the artist. You have to educate the person that's interested in the gallery. And education isn't a one-off thing. Education is over and over and over and over. How do you get someone interested in spending loads of money? You tell them why they need to spend the money. He said something else that was really interested here. Really, really interesting. And I think this is an Art Basel thing. I want to find it because he said something about magic. And oh my God, I wish I didn't have to spend so much time talking about marketing. I wish I didn't. Oh, here it is. He added that art needs to be seen as magic. Return to the notion that artists are people who create magical objects. Artists are people who create magical experiences, that having those experiences and having those objects in your life is transformative and is a better use of your money than anything else. Owning magic, owning something that no one else can do. If you own an Amawaka Boafo, you own something of a genius. You own something that is magical. That's how you frame it. And he's coming at that from that perspective. When you go and see a film, you want the film to feel big and huge. And that's also why films think about packaging. How are they going to package it? You know, and if we go back to the title of this video, hey, where's the money, right? I mean, there's a practice in packaging messaging, right? And if galleries don't actually invest in that, if they don't invest in telling you the magical story, we could talk about why an artist is important in an academic way all day long. But if somebody out there not making it magical, how are you attracting people? How are you attracting people? You could still have grace. You could still have integrity. You could still keep the language of the art world. You could still be poised. You could still be things all on that spectrum. And at the same time, tell it in a magical way. Talk about the artist in a magical way. Tell the story of an artist in a magical way. You know, we look at musicians. And when we think about something, I bring up Beyonce a lot. She's the best example in the world for everything, right? Beyonce is magic. Have y'all ever been to a Beyonce show? It's magical. I've been to 13, maybe 14 Beyonce concerts. Renaissance was the craziest, most magical one. But she created a spectacle out of herself. She told the story. When you can tell the story is the best part. How did the artist arrive here? How did the artist get to this? What is the artist talking about? And the fact that the artist is able to take this information out of their brain and put it on canvas or put it on whatever surface they're putting it on, from their perspective, is that not magic? Is that not magic? How do we make it magical? I really like that he said that. I really, really like that he said we have to return to the notion that artists are people who create magical objects. Because when you go to these fairs, when you go to gallery opens, let me know in the chat, when's the last time y'all been to a gallery opening? When's the last time y'all been to a gallery opening? Okay, let me know. And let me know, was it fun? Did you walk in and did you feel the magic of the artist? Did you feel the magic of the artist from the moment you seen the static flyer? Or did you see a quiet video of them creating in their studio? Did it give you magic? Did it tell you that this artist is a genius and only this artist can do what this artist can do? We have to know when we're collecting things, when we're buying things, that we don't have to buy. Mind you, art is a luxury. You know, we could talk all day long about how art really creates this sentiment for amazing mental health. And I really, truly believe that. But to buy art is a luxury. Most art is not under $500. And I'm also not going to make it seem like $500 isn't a lot. $500 is a bit. It is. When you're spending a certain amount of money, you want to feel the magic. Do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree with that? Let me know. Let me know. What opening did you go to that was fun last weekend? Let's see. What opening was that last weekend? Yeah, we talked about this in the Patreon live last week. Thank you. The academic jargon is too damn much in the art world. It's not accessible. Thank you. Thank you so much, Asari. It's not accessible. How do we let the people know that what we're creating isn't magic? Yeah, what was the show you went to? Essence Hardin at Southern Guild Gallery. Shout out to Essence Hardin at Southern Guild Gallery. If y'all haven't checked that out, we got a good recommendation in the chat. Make sure you check that out. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about that a little bit because if you're an artist, if you are a gallery, if you're a curator, listen, maybe we have different approaches and things, but I think things need magic. I think things need framing. I think things need positioning. I think we have to position these things as magic. And that's all I'm going to say here. That's all I'm going to say here. So where is the money? The money is where the magic is. That's the answer to my question. The money is where the magic is. If you can make people feel, then you can bring them in. But we have to think about the marketing, the PR, and the education. And how do we create magic through those three different things? How do you create magic through marketing? How do you create magic through education about the artist? How do you create magic through PR while still staying centered in the artist story and still staying focused on the artist story, not making it so big that it's not true anymore? Still want to tell the truth. We're still searching for the truth, right? Like, we're not trying to blow things all out of proportion. We're still in this for the truth. But in that truth, where's the magic? Yeah. So anyway, wanted to go on to this. I seen this. Do y'all follow art.net? Do y'all follow art.net? Really good, really funny. And also gives us a lot of perspective on what's going on in the art world kind of quick as soon as it happens. Culture reports in 2019, 18% of solo exhibitions at New York museums focused on dead artists. And in 2025, that number more than doubled to just under 50%. Is this the new strategy? Museums in 2026, dead artists only. No Instagram scandals, no political hot takes, no career-ending interviews, just safe. Ooh, the people are scared. They're scared. And you know what they're scared of? This. They're scared of this. They're scared of this. They're scared of Amy Sherrod. Let's find Amy. They're scared of Amy. Okay? They're scared of Amy. Y'all know what happened with Amy Sherrod? She said, "Oh no, I'm going to pull my show. I'm not listening to y'all. I'm going to go where I'm loved. I'm going to go where I want to be." They're scared of this. You know what they said? Dead artists can't do too much. Dead artists can't do too much. Okay, if you're dead, you're safe. Unless you have some people controlling your estate who are way too involved. So what I'm also wondering is if these exhibitions, these museum exhibitions that we are seeing and that we will see this year, will they have really strong? I mean, who are the people that's controlling their estate? I guess. Who are the people that's controlling their estate? I guess that would be a good question. But yeah, I mean, I think that dead artists are safe. And I'm kind of mad that he just straight up called them dead. I mean, not that they're not dead. I mean, people just like are always trying to be so politically correct that they don't say dead. Crazy. I thought this was really interesting as well. Not to just keep jumping around, but I thought this was really interesting to take a look at and listen to. So let's all listen to this really quickly. I'm going to get out of it, get back in, and take her off mute.
To perform a political role that they can't really necessarily fulfill. Institutions, critics, the art interpretation apparatus assigns political value to works of art, especially by artists of color, especially by Black artists, calls upon those works to be political. And then I think people get disenchanted when they feel or sense that the works of art can't actually do that. And then there's kind of like a wholesale disenchantment with art and art making. Works of art have been called.
Did y'all catch what she said? Did y'all catch what she said? I thought it was so interesting, especially as a Black woman who definitely puts a center on Black artists and really thinks about Black artists and how Black artists approach their work. And I'm really focused on that. And I'm sure you guys, those of you who are artists in the chat, artists watching this live, I'm sure you guys put a focus or think about that also. What if your work isn't political? Why does being a Black artist always lead to your work having to focus on something political? And almost if you don't, that's why I really am a fan of someone like a Derek Adams, right? Because he is, you know what's also crazy about Derek Adams? He's just focusing on Black joy. But when I hear people talk about his work, they say Black joy is resistance. And resistance in the tone of the word is political. Why is our joy resistance? When I'm with my daughter and I'm being joyful, I'm not resisting anything but hate. I'm not even resisting nothing at the time. I'm just in the moment. I am just in joy. How is joy used as a political front? And, you know, like she said, also, I think when what she said is when in some sense of the word, I'm not going to actually say completely what she said because I can't repeat it all the way. But in a sense, what she said is people get disenchanted. They get disengaged, disenchanted. Like, even think about the idea of what we just talked about, right? Like, we just talked about the idea that art needs to be magical. And then we watched a video of her talking about the enchantment. Enchantment is magic. And the enchantment of Black artists having to be political, and the magic is in that. The magic is in how Black people have become so amazing, even though the magic is in that. Why is the magic only in that, is what I believe she's saying. And if a Black artist, especially African-American artists, explains their work and talks about their work, and they don't mention anything political, they don't mention anything about the work that they're creating being political, that the magic is just gone. What do y'all think about that? I thought that was a really interesting thought. And I don't think she's the only one that has that thought. I think that thought definitely circulates. And, you know, I don't know. Something I want to think about. Amoaka Boafo is having a solo exhibition to open in the Venice Biennale during 2026. That's why I wanted to talk about him a little bit earlier. And, you know, some kind of way these lives always go full circle. And it's like, damn, just, you know, and it's not even ever planned that way. How do we even get to the fact that we talked about Marian Ibrahim and now we're talking about Amoaka Boafo, and, you know, she had a lot to do with his career and a lot to do with his success. And these lives just find their, you know, talking about the enchantment and the magic. I don't know how these lives end up finding themselves coming back to one another, but they do. I really, 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 really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. We got someone in the chat. They're telling us they're a fine artist from Detroit. Just found your channel last week. Love what you're doing. So we have Detroit in the house. We got Detroit in the house. We have LA in the house. We have Texas, more Texas in the house. I forgot who else we had in the house, but I'm glad that you just told us you're from Detroit. That lets us know. If y'all are just sitting here in the chat, make sure you guys press that like button. It does a lot for this channel. But not only is Amawako Buafo having a solo exhibition at the Venice Biennale, I'm really excited to see that. Number one, I'm also really excited to know and see that he's one of the artists that blew up crazily in 2020 and was able to hold. Damn, he must have the big. I know who his manager is, and I look. I know he's a smart man. I know a few people on his team. They got it going on. They're a great team. The way that they're doing this is amazing because the way he blew up during such a speculative year, it could have ended everything for him, even though he's an amazing artist. But the way that he's approached his career and the way that he has really done the work to, as well as, just everyone, the way that that museum show that you remember that museum show that he did that traveled from San Francisco, I believe, to Houston, to here, to there, to here, to there. It really did a lot to ground who he is as an artist and make sure his pillars were strong. He may not have done all of those residencies, but the residency he started is grounding, right? I mean, he's just done a lot of grounding things. And so I wanted to bring him up also because if you are in Los Angeles, he had a show that just opened up in LA at Roberts Projects, which Roberts Projects has also been an incredible part of his career. It has also been an incredible part of his career. So yeah, congratulations to Amawako. I'm so excited to see what he's been able to do. I really wish I might be able to go to this. When is it closed? March 21st. I am going to LA at the end of February, so I'm going to pop into this. I won't even miss this for the world. Like, this work is so beautiful. The way that they've built this out inside of Roberts Project is really, really gorgeous. And this from the pictures, this feels like a world, and it feels like magic. And it feels like when I step into this, I'm going to step into Amawako's world and what he wants me to feel, not just white walls, not just white space. It seems like I'm going to step into what he wants me to experience and what he and the gallery and his team, what they want us to experience. And if it were just white walls, I don't know if I'd be so enchanted. I don't know if I'd be so excited to go. But because this is giving such a dynamic feel, I'm really excited to go. So if you guys are in Los Angeles, make sure you go. Hopefully you guys came to the chat with an artist y'all wanted to talk about. I always kind of lean into one of the artists you guys talk about. I also ran across, Yale School of Art, they are having a show soon. And I ran across this guy. His name is Cesar Lopez. And I haven't looked too much, but I really liked this work aesthetically. But I also liked what I thought and what I think his work is doing. And what I think it's doing is putting images on metal plates as if they are, what are those things that when you see those photographs that are, y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the name that are I can't think of what I'm thinking about. But when I seen this, I thought how beautiful this is and what a great way to play with photography. A few years ago, I was working with a photographer, and one of the core things that we kept exploring and kept talking about is how to move forward and to continue and to be successful in photography. You're going to have to play with photography, and you're going to have to do that in a very almost institutional way. And the way that he is playing with photography, I could really appreciate this. The way that he is taking photography and putting it on aluminum, which is something that I've had to do before in working with an artist. I did this project at the airport here, and in order for us to make the photograph, and it had to be like fire resistant and et cetera, et cetera. So we had to use particular materials to make sure that the photographs that we were using did exactly that. And so we went through this process of transferring the photographs that the artist, Kobe Dill is his name, that the artist was using onto metal. And I'd seen this process used before, and I'd been a part of that process before. And to see this artist do that here and to do it in this disc, in this way of, you know what I'm thinking of? You know those toys? You remember those toys that we used to use that we could put the image inside of the toys, press the button, and when we press the button, it'd go over to a different photograph. What was that called? What was that called? Yes. Okay. Yes. The photo wheels you put in one of those visors, then you click the side. Okay. Then you click the side. I forgot the name of them too. That's what this is. I've been trying to think about that ever since I seen this, which was about 5 days ago. And I couldn't think of like, why does this feel nostalgic? Why do I feel like I've seen something like this before? And why do I love it so much? And so, yeah, I thought this was really, really beautiful and really interesting. He's getting his MFA at Yale right now. And so I'm excited to see where this artist goes, but I'm going to take a guess and I'm going to assume it's going to be really far. Yeah, I really like that. Another artist I wanted to talk about, Tanya Wedemeyer. She's having an exhibition in February. Let's see. I think they list the date here. They don't. Do we see the date? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it again at some point, but wanted to kind of, just spotlight Tanya Wedemeyer in the next show that they'll be having. We talked about Kama Akuru not too long ago. Let's see if I think one of you guys recommended an artist, and that artist, their work looked very similar to Kama, so I pulled her up. And again, if y'all are watching these live, y'all will notice that things will always come full circle. Things that we talk about, they'll come back up again in a different light and in a different way. But Kama's going to be in this show. She's from Houston, Texas, and I wanted to spotlight that. I think this is going to be a pretty great show. Something else. Oh, let me not play that because they'll copyright me. We can't get copywritten. I don't want that. They'll take my video down. Do y'all have any artists that y'all want to take a look at, that y'all want to look at today? Ella Natsu. We have here one of my favorite artists. Really interesting work. I've been really looking at Art Drunk a lot lately because they do the way that they're telling these stories. They make art feel magical. I'm going to tell you that. They make art as a program, as a platform. I mean, you can only aspire to be on this level. You have to have people placed all around the world to get to all of this art. But the way that they're making the art feel so huge and so big and so interactive and so magical, I really do like how they're doing it, just to, take us back to that magic and take us back to how we experience art and how it is magic and should be magic and can be magic. But it's all about how you tell the story and how you frame it. Because quite honestly, art lives all around the world, and we might see all of his art, but there's no way we'll be able to see it all in person. But online, if you look at this, this feels magical. This feels magical, right? And so, I think that we have to make art magic again. I think I'm gonna make that a hat. Should we make that a hat? Yeah, I love Nick Cave's work. So do I, man. Nick Cave's one of my husband's favorite artists, so we get a lot of Nick Cave around here. But should we make that a hat? Not make America great again, but make art magical again. We're gonna put that on a shirt. I need to write that down. Would y'all buy that shirt? Make art magical again. Let me know. So we got Nick Cave. Y'all didn't really tell me too many others. I love Nick Cave. I'm sure you guys all know who Nick Cave is. We could talk about him just a bit. I don't even know what he's been up to. I talked about him on a live. That's not the Nick Cave. That's never the Nick Cave I'm looking for. But we talked about Nick Cave not too long ago, probably on a live about 5 lives ago. I don't even know why we were talking about him. I think we were talking about the sound suits, but here's Nick Cave. If you guys are not familiar with Nick Cave, honestly, an artist that feels magical. Honestly, You know what? If you like Nick Cave, you know who else you might like? You might like Yinka Shaunabear. Do you know who Yinka Shaunabear is? If you like Nick Cave, you definitely like Nick Shaunabear. A lot of people know Nick Cave. I don't find that as many people know who Yinka Shaunabear is, but just as magical as an artist. Just as magical. Look at this. I've talked about him on one of my videos because I thought he was just amazing through discovery. You see, if you like Nick Cave, you probably do like this very similar, then the work is not similar, but the approach, the way in which they are creating, the large scale, the bodysuits can be very, very much so similar. Okay, let's get into it. Yeah, for sure. You know, I always love someone that can just make me feel their world. You know who else she kind of reminds me of? Who's the artist that's on the cover of Young, Gifted, and Black? I know their name. I'm losing their name. I just lost the name. But who is the artist who's on the cover of Young, Gifted, and Black? I placed one of those in a collection. I can't think of their name. Y'all can look it up. Very similar. I love it. I do love it. I do love it. I do love it. Anyone else? I'm going to be talking about your painting soon. Praise be to God. I pray that over your life. I pray it over your life. We can talk about your work right now. We're here. We're here. All right, y'all. Look, it's 12:50. Y'all have been amazing. Oh, I think I see someone else here that y'all said. Kwame Azur Gomez. Let's do that one real quick. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, she's been making a lot of waves here lately. Really doing some amazing work and really getting the attention of a lot of people. I think it's really gorgeous, beautiful work. Yeah. Anybody else y'all want to talk about? I think that's it. Okay, so I have a video to record for that actually should be coming out next week. I'm editing a video. I need to finish editing this video, adding a few more edits that will be on this video tomorrow. Have you guys heard of, let me know in the chat, have y'all heard of Black art in America? Have you guys heard of Black art in America? We'll talk about it more, but just wondering if you've heard of Black art in America. Well, they're having a print fair, and that print fair is coming to Houston. If y'all haven't been to Houston, y'all need to come to Houston because a lot of things are coming to Houston. But they are having a print fair. You can experience the fair by coming in person to Houston. It's going to be at the Houston Museum of African American Culture. And look, they have works under $500 and all the way up to $75,000. Serious works. If you think about artists like Elizabeth Catlett, think about artists like Romare Bearden, but also think about artists like Derek Phillips. You know, so many different caliber of artists, so many different levels of artists. They vetted all of these artists out. They're really bringing amazing prints. Everyone's not at the position to collect at the level of buying originals that cost so much. But if you want to experience museum level artwork and artists and be able to collect them at an accessible point, at accessible price point, and at an accessible place, then visit the Fine Art Print Fair that's going to be in Houston, that is going to be put on and hosted by Black Art in America. If you can't come to Houston, just go to their website right now. Go over to their website right now and look through all of these artworks. If you see something you like, it is so simple. All you have to do is literally add it to your cart and get it. And I've talked to the owner myself of Black Art in America, Najee Dorsey, who is an amazing leader in the arts. Black art in America has been the lead for so much education around Black art, and right now they're leading the way of prints and editions of Black artists. And I think it's really important that, you know, you guys at least go to their website and explore and see if it's something there that really piques your interest, especially if you're looking for some entryway, an entry point into collecting, and you don't have a bazillion gazillion dollars, or you're not Elon Musk and about to be a trillionaire like we just talked about a little bit ago. But also, even if you're a collector that is pretty serious about their collection, really grounding your collection in prints from some of these emerging artists, are artists like Tracy Mims, who I've grown to really like, that I really didn't know much about until I got into understanding this fair and knowing more about this fair. Another artist that I've really began to like is Jamal Barber, but also Derek Phillips. That's who it is. I've really grown to love this artist after just really spending some time with the artist on their website. Derek Phillips, man, the more I see this, the more I think about collecting, and I probably will. So yeah, y'all visit Black Art in America. That's just another resource I wanted to give you guys. And I will see y'all next time. Y'all know what it is. Glory is a process, and you can't have the glory without the story. I've enjoyed you guys immensely today, and we will see each other tomorrow on the video that's going to drop tomorrow. I'm gonna have another video that I need to drop on Thursday as well, that I need to publish on Thursday. Not sure if it's going to publish on Thursday, but if not, we may be here live again sometime this week. So I'll see y'all. Make sure, guys, if you want, if y'all seen Asari, who is I Met God, She's Black, talk a little bit about how we talked about in our Patreon, some of these things that we talked about today, how to actually apply that to your practice, then guys, come to the Patreon. It's a really good place to be if you want to learn in a small group setting on Zoom. And some of the strategies that we talk about on the channel, we bring over to the Patreon, and we apply those strategies directly to our art practice, directly to our collecting practice. So hopefully you guys come on over to the Patreon. The Patreon is an amazing place to be, to dig deeper, get deeper into your practice, and apply the things that we talk about directly to your practice. So y'all have a wonderful day as well. Y'all take care as well. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. And